Hello everybody. Today we are going to go over the color wheel. You will be wanting to use your mixed media paper for this particular assignment. And we're going to talk about creating a color wheel. I'm going to discuss two different ways to make a color wheel if you do not have a compass. So this first video will be on if you have a compass, you want to follow this one. Step one is we're going to look the size of our paper. Now our paper we already know was 11 by 14. I went ahead and double checked the measurements though just to make sure that it was accurate. So I have 11 inches by the 14. Now I want to get the center point because I want to have my diameter, my circle in the dead center. So I'm going to do some math here. Again, whichever way you do this, it can work out. This is what I found is a little easy for me. This is a small little scratch paper of a diagram of the paper, 11 inches by 14. Since I want to get the half center point for this, I want to divide. So I already did that here, but say I do 11 divided by 2. That is going to equal 5.5. So now I know that this will be 5.5 on both sides. So I already pre-made out my measurements. And as I look at this, I have 11 inches. I'm going to just go ahead and mark where the 5.5 is. So remember, here's 5 inches. If you are using a ruler that is a metal one, remember the 1 inch starts a little bit after the edge of the ruler. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So my little dot would go here. It's really good that you make your dots go at a straight line, because if you make them go the opposite way, sometimes it doesn't help us guide our ruler properly. And then you want to make it in another location too, again twice, so then you have that little individual small line that you can help measure from. So this will help guide the ruler. So I'm going to go ahead and make my straight line here. Now at the very end, you can erase the lines that are not being used because it's going to make a large cross right now. The next part, now I want to get the actual length. We know that this is 14 inches. So if I do 14 again divided by 2, because I want to get the center, 14 divided by 2 is 7. So we're going to say 7 inches. I already pre-made my marks again, so I draw the little line at 7, and then also the other area too I would put at 7. And then I just go ahead and line up those 2 dots or 3 dots that I created, and then draw a straight line for that. Okay, so now I have almost these 4/4 segments, and again we're going to make a diameter, so these lines can be erased at the end. Also, if for some reason you get a lot of marks when you're mixing your paint, you can also cut out the diameter and glue it onto a new sheet of paper just for a clean presentation. All right, so for our next step, I'm just going to turn over the paper just so we can see a little clearly. If you do have a compass, what you want to do is you want to extend it out to 4 inches. It's going to go in a circle, and 4 plus 4 is 8. We want to do an 8-inch diameter if all possible. So when I look at my ruler, I want to make sure that each point is going to hit the 1 and then the 4. Right now it's not exactly there. So when you use this, you just crank it a little bit more open. And again, I want my 2 points to hit the edge of the inches. Okay, so here's 1 and then here's 4. This is good. And if it is a little bit less or smaller, large, it doesn't matter, it still works. Okay, so now again, using a compass, we have the graphite part and then we have the pointed part. The pointed part is going to stay in the center, and then you're just going to rotate it around to make that perfect circle. There's a couple ways to do this. You can either just manually make the circle, or you can shift your paper and just move it around. You want to keep pressure in the center just to make sure that it's going to stay straight. And I'm going to go ahead and just rotate my paper. Again, I'm putting pressure down in the center just to make sure nothing is off. Taking my time as I rotate my paper around. And here is my circle, yay! Okay, so 8-inch diameter. Now again too, if you do not like these lines, you can go ahead and erase them, or just at the beginning, just have really light graphite lines so it's not noticeable and it's easy to remove. You can also, again, cut out your diameter at the very end just to put it on a clean sheet of paper in case if you get a lot of paint stains on it, because this is really exciting. We're going to work with paint this time. Okay, so here's my color wheel so far. We want to have 12 different pie slices, I call them. So right now we have 4. We need to add more to that. And each of these are going to have 3 inside of them. Now this is the part where I have artistic freedom in it. I just eyeball it. There is specific mathematical equations, and I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. So I'm going to start with this corner here, and I'm just going to go ahead and make 2 little lines, kind of trying to make it look like they're even on all 3 sides. And that's all I need to do now because I already have the center point. It's going to tell me already what these next ones will be. So I'm just going to now put my ruler where I made one of those dots, put my ruler again in the center, and then just draw a straight line to the very edge of the next side. So I already got 2 of these. I'm going to do the same thing again, so where I put that dot originally and then right in the dead center to help guide the ruler. So now I have my other ones. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do these next. So again, I'm just going to eyeball it and mark it to see what looks pretty even. Continue with the same pattern I did before. Okay, so now I have my 12 pie slices. Next, what I want to do is now make the diameters change. So we're going to actually have 4 of them inside. So we're going to use the original hue, tints, tones, and shades. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my one side I already created. This was 4 inches, right? And I'm going to mark down each of where the 1 inch mark hits it. So 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch. And I'm going to have, again, 1 inch circles or rings, you could call them, for each of these. Now I just need to put that on one area. I don't need to do that anymore. And now I'm going to go ahead and use my compass again. And I'm going to keep my point at that center. And I want to make sure my lead part lines up with that 1 inch that I created. So we're going to make the first outside diameter. Or you could say the second ring. Okay, so that's looking exactly right, or about right. I'll go ahead and again, make sure that my point is facing up, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start rotating my paper. Okay, so that's 1 ring. Next, what I'm going to do is now just use again the same measurements I had. I'm now pulling in my compass. Again, the pointed part stays in the center. I want the lead part now to go at that next 1 inch. And again, just approximate as close as you can get to it. Okay, so then I'm going to put my point in the center and then just go ahead and rotate my paper again. You don't have to rotate. You can go ahead and actually move your hand. For me, I'm going to rotate. It's easier that way for me. Okay, last part. Go back to here. Now I'm going to make this 1 inch, so a little smaller. Again, the point is at the center, the metal point, and then your lead is at that 1 inch mark we already created. Okay, so there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and start again. Just have it right in the center. And rotate my paper. Okay, so here's my color wheel. I'm ready to get started. Now, when I did the circles, the second part, and I did the pie slices more the first part, you don't have to do this exact same step, just as long as you get to the end with these 4 rings, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have your 12 pie slices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And again, you're having a center point, so then this is in the middle of your work. Thank you very much, and I will next show you again about mixing.